I watched the episode yesterday, told you my thoughts on it, and to be honest, they were a bit reserved out of anything. But they were a bit reserved because I was concerned that people would dislike, comment terrible things, because there is a real break in the fandom right now. There normally is quite a lot of toxic stuff in there, but there's a real break after last night's episode. But I felt like I really wanted to give my point across. So there are going to be two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about how I'm kind of sad for a lot of the community, ever so quickly, and then I want to talk about the Cyber Lord, Time Lord things, and then I want to talk about the Doctor and obviously the Timeless Child stuff. I really feel sorry for anyone who is now completely disconnected to Doctor Who after last night's episode. I think that it's something that I always hope will never happen to me, that they will do something so wrong by me that I would just believe that there's no point watching it anymore. I really hope that day doesn't come, and I'm very sad to the people that has happened to after last night. I do realise that it's just a show at the end of the day, and I don't know why I'm speaking like my dog's just died, but still, it means a lot to people, and to have that taken away from them because of the way that the story's gone is no longer a way that they believe in. Okay, before I get any further, right, I just want to remind you, these are my opinions, they're not yours. You don't have to believe them, and I'm perfectly fine with you having a different opinion. I'm not saying that these are fact, these are just things that I believe, and they could change over time, for all I know. There was a couple of episodes of Doctor Who that I actually liked, maybe the first time I watched them, but the second, the third, I went off them completely. I liked the Battle of Ranskoor, Kolos, or whatever it was called, from Series 11 originally, and then I watched it again, and do you know what? I really hated it. The best way to put it is that if you put, in my opinion, or to my knowledge, in front or around each statement that I make, it might be easier for you to swallow. I quite like the concept of Cyberman Time Lords, right? Okay, and I feel you typing. I just felt you were going, oh, for God's sake. But hear me out, right? So I think that the idea for these things are really cool. The designs, I think, are okay. I just thought, oh, that's exactly what I want to see. But the designs, I think, are rather cool. They look a bit silly, and people who've pointed them out to be silly and hilarious, etc., that's fine. They do look silly. Because it's almost like, do you know when people take two images, they stick them together? It's basically that. The idea of the Cybermen is to convert themselves to make themselves better and better and better and etc. And basically evolve. It was an episode, Nightmare in Silver, which many people don't like, so I better not bring it up, but I'll bring it up briefly. I think that they talk about how the Cybermen have to keep evolving. So for everything that they do wrong, they evolve from it. And the one thing that a Cyberman can never really evolve from is dying. They can put themselves into those metal suits, but they're not indestructible. They can still get killed. And the regeneration stops that from happening. And that's why I quite like their idea. Because if you have an army of regenerating Cybermen, you are going to take over the world. That's why I fear that they've been completely underused in this episode. If they return, and there's a theory that they do, because there's a line that you can hear while the detonator's been pulled, that you can hear ever so quietly. And you can hear the Master saying, you know, get out of here, something like that. You know, you lot over here or something. They would make really cool villains. Those Time Lord Cybermen things will be almost indestructible. But that also means that you have a problem, because now how the hell do you destroy something if they are Time Lords and they cannot die? Well, they can't die, you know, in a generic sort of way. You can kill them mid-regeneration, so I suppose they're not killable. So I suppose they are killable. Okay. Timeless Children time. I'm actually quite happy with the Timeless Children idea. I think that I wasn't expecting it, and I don't really want it to be the Doctor, because the Doctor should be this outcast, this person that doesn't really fit in, is a bit of a misfit, etc. It really should be like that. But they've decided not to do that anymore. I think something that appeals to me as a Doctor Who fan was that you're not exactly in there. I think in primary school, when I was watching Doctor Who, I didn't have the same interests as other people. You know, football, for example. Kicking a ball around, mate, it's not that interesting. That kind of stuff made me feel a bit like an outsider, and I suppose the Doctor kind of appealed to me because of that. And now that the Doctor is no longer really an outsider, is actually the chosen one, that generic term, the Harry Potter Star Wars term The Chosen One, which keeps popping up in loads of popular media, is a real shame to see. But what I do like is the fact that they've gone and put the Morbius doctors in, and because you can have multiple doctors beforehand, that means that you can have a whole line of people that can now play the role in terms of Big Finish. You can make whatever you want canon. You can make Peter Cushing's movie canon. Was there two of them? I think there might have been two of them. Make them canon. You can make Big Finish Doctors canon if they're not already. There's a big debate about that in there, but still, you don't need to fit things into the whole chronological order anymore and say like this is Doctor 30. You can put them beforehand, and it's going to open up tons of opportunities for writers in terms of Big Finish and for fan films possibly, that you can add them in wherever you want in that timeline. That is so exciting to me. The idea that you can stick hundreds of doctors, because there's no limit on how many there were back there. There could be millions of versions, and that is exciting, because that means that you have many opportunities to add as many doctors as you like. Maybe not even call them the Doctor, and you can have different variations. So you've just got plenty of stuff to write for. And all of that writing won't mess with the show itself. There's a lot of canon's ruined now, etc., but I don't think it really is. I think that, there's always been the idea that the Doctor had previous incarnations before William Hartnell. As much as I don't really agree with it, it hasn't broken much. The Morbius Doctors are now canon, and that's all they've really done. That was set up back in, the 70s, 80s? This also means unlimited regenerations for the Doctors, so they don't have to write in that thing every once in a while. But that is also adding to the idea that now she's special. In fact, if you look at Doctor Who, there have been so many regenerations that you would have breached the 12 already. Even if Matt Smith has regained all of his extra stuff, right? Even if Matt Smith was given the extra regenerations, the Meta-Crisis Doctor, the John Hurt Doctor, it would have broken the whole system. There's just so many implications with that it's a much simpler way just to say, actually, the Doctor can regenerate as many times as they like. It also means that this Roof Doctor is also a bit of a problem, and I think they didn't mean it to be so. Things such as calling themselves the Doctor might have sounded cool in episode 5, but now we have the full context, not so much, because why would she be called the Doctor if she was set beforehand and not just in between? She was set before, which she must be, but I wonder whether she's something a little bit more, and maybe she might make another appearance, because it would be a waste if that's it. I'm sure there's more stuff to talk about. It's been festering inside of me all day, and I'm just excited to actually get it out and start talking about it. I understand that not many people are going to agree with me. Well, I'm sure some will, but some won't. And that's fine, I suppose. And I'm sad that you couldn't get joy out of that episode of Doctor Who that I did. I'm just excited for the opportunities that it means now, and how that shake-up is going to affect Doctor Who for the future. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you give a like, subscribe if you're new, and I shall see you soon.